Hey, welcome to Mullen Stock. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. And also remember that this is not a financial advice video. Now let's start. So today I want to give you a good overview of what truly happened with Mullen today. Why it went down 15.21% today despite the positive momentum from yesterday going into today. So I'm going to go over all that, what shorts did, and some latest updates. So today, though, there was no tentative news from Mullins. So no SEC filings, no press releases. There was also no news from Lawrence. So no Facebook live stream, no post, no PR, anything like that. So as what he has previously indicated, that news was going to be coming out between Friday and Tuesday, especially with Monday being a holiday. And that kind of is a little bit more of a transition into this topic. Why there was 54.35 million shares being traded? Well, if you, for instance, look at momentum indicator number of retail investors were just getting out today. So clearly today was their last-ditch effort to get out of Mullen. Because clearly, when it comes to Tuesday, if for any reason we all wake up and there is no news right in front of us, facing us, or whatever you want to call it, then Mullen is going to go on a very, very vicious death spiral. So of course, though I am not a financial advisor, you guys do your own due diligence. But keep in mind there is a lot of high expectations for Lawrence. So again, it's one of those situations if you believe in Lawrence, then definitely that's good. If not, then most likely you would have probably gone out today in reality. But this was also floating around on Twitter. So it looks like Rick Dunham did reach out to Lawrence, and Lawrence did confirm that there is going to be two pieces of PR coming on Tuesday, one of which is for Mullen itself, the second one being through the LLC. So most likely that's Saudi deal. But again, it's one of those situations that you either believe him or not. So that's kind of where we are in limbo right now, and unfortunately, that's also why it did go down as much as it did, especially in my pre-market update. I believe shorts were increasing around 770,000 shares. They did end up returning roughly around 594.5 thousand though at the end of the day. Still on the threshold list, 20.82% of the free floats being shorted, 33.92 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow is still going down. So it was at around, I think, 330 at the peak. So it's gone down quite a lot. 157.6% is the average. So definitely a lot of retail selling and shorts just increasing their position. There was a massive amount of selling pressure and not much buyer. So this is why it went down 15.21%, and most likely as well why it is down after hours. So a lot of people clearly do not believe that something big is coming on Tuesday. But again, if there is no news, then definitely the stock price is going to be hurting. In addition to that, though, Fadadi did bring this to my attention on Twitter, and it looks like there is a subpoena that is floating around to David Mittery associated to that whole lawsuit that I did bring up. Roughly, around 3 days ago, something like that, on which Lawrence, I guess, received around $300,000 in funding, was supposed to be used for battery technology and the testing and so forth of obviously his black box technology, but he did use it for reparations. So clearly not what was laid out in the terms and agreements and so forth. So it's one of those situations that isn't necessarily the best thing. I believe behind the scenes from what this Reddit post does say, it does look like Lawrence came to a tentative settlement with this individual on which I guess it was supposed to be 10 million or something like that was paid. Don't quote me on those amounts though. But again, you guys get why I'm saying that basically there was a settlement. He didn't actually even pay that settlement that he kind of proposed, and this is where now David is getting looped into this. So it's one of those situations I do believe this is something that you need to watch for and be aware of. But as far as this exact thing affecting the stock price of Mullen, I don't know. That might be a little bit far-fetched potentially. But again, it's one of those things that I guess the whole integrity of Lawrence is now being questioned, which goes back down to the point is there going to be news on Tuesday. So it's all correlated. But as he's mentioned many times on a lot of his posts in the past, he's also signaled that I guess people are trying to knock him down in other formats. So you never know, it might be one of those things or it might be legitimate. I'll leave it up to you guys to make that determination. So, like I said, shorts increased their position, retail got out. As far as options activity today though, there was $436,000 in call premiums, 129,000 input premiums. So clearly people were and still are anticipating upside coming when it comes down to Mullen. As far as the breakdown, unfortunately, there was no gamma squeeze, the fact that we closed below $1. But going into Tuesday, there is going to be roughly around 3,000, that is in open interest, at that 50-cent strike price. So it's one of those things that might help. But it would have helped definitely if it was at that 17,000. So quite a lot of these options did close out the position today though, generally speaking. As far as big transactions, there was only one today and $269,000, first thing in the morning, and it was a buy. So again, that might be a good thing, bad thing. But as far as the technicals, it did break below this S2, so around the 89-cent mark, and it was kind of just in limbo between obviously the S3 and S2. But like I said, especially going into Tuesday, I think everyone is just going to be watching for Saudi news, Saudi PR. And of course, if not, then you just have to be prepared for a little bit more of a downtrend. Or if there is truly Saudi news, a lot of people are just going to be looking at exactly the finite details of that. And I've already done a video hypothetically, if that is 10 billion coming towards muln, and through the LLC, how high the stock price could go. So in general, rough estimate could be around $25. Because at that stage, you're going to have a lot of retail selling, taking profit. You're going to also have shorts increasing their position. A lot of different things might be halted as well. Behind the scenes, there's tons of different variables that could happen. So once again, it's kind of a crappy day that it went down 15.21%. But as I've said before, muln is a very high-risk, high-return investment. You have to do your own due diligence, and definitely muln is not for the faint of heart. So it's one of those situations that you either have to believe in the bigger picture or just clearly, based on today, you need to take your losses and move on to bigger and better things. That's just my own interpretation. You guys ultimately do your own due diligence no matter what. Because I think in general, he is that short-term catalyst, as I've mentioned, because July 2023 is when they're going to be starting the M3 production and so forth, which in general, based on all the news, they've laid everything down for that to be very successful. But from now until July, we're basically at the mercy of shorts if there is no tentative Saudi news. Guys, that's all we have for you today. What is your opinion about muln stock? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.